In the Zone, presented by TD.
It's In the Zone, presented by TD. Ben Ennis, Mike Wilner. Mike, before we get to anything Blue Jays related, how's your face? You had dental surgery on Monday. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know what? Oral surgery's tough go. Knocked the heck out of me for a couple of days, but what are you going to do? The Blue Jays, thankfully, didn't do anything Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, so I had till Thursday when the Edwin extension happened, and I think that right now I'm not terribly puffy. I don't know that it would be in anyone's best interest to zoom in on my face, but if we did, we'd see that it's basically symmetrical, and I think that's the best we can ask for at any given time.
Yeah, as symmetrical as it ever was, Mike, for sure. Let's talk about Edwin Encarnacion and the 3-year extension, $27 million for 3 years, and then fourth year an option, I think, for $10 million for that fourth year. He's on pace to have a career year. I think he's only 5 homers away from his career high, or 3 homers away from his career high in homers. He's hitting almost 300. On base percentage is about 100 points higher than his batting average as well. Hitting fourth in this lineup that's been pretty potent the last couple of weeks or so. What was your take overall on the Edwin signing?
Not unexpected. I thought it was something that they felt like they needed to do before the trade deadline. Not that Edwin's a guy that if you don't lock up, you have to deal, because I think they would have been comfortable giving him a qualifying offer under the new CBA and securing at least a draft pick if he said no. Somebody asked me the day before, said if they lock up Edwin, what do you think it'll be? And I said 2 and an option, probably like $19 million for the 2 years and $11 for the third. So it was off by a couple $1 million and a year. But it seems right. It seems about fair. And I know he's only done it once, and I know this is a free agent year, and a lot of people believe that guys can raise their level of performance in free agent years. I don't know how true that is or not. But if you look at it, Edwin has been a different guy since the end of June of 2011. Once they told him, you are never playing third base again, he became a different hitter. And it helped that the wrist had healed and all those little nagging injuries had cleared up. But basically, I think that's what it was. You're never playing third base again. Don't worry about it. Go hit. And he has.
Certainly has. It really seems like that weight has been lifted from him, and he doesn't have to worry about playing defense, at least throwing the ball. Because he's a pretty good defender at first base as far as fielding grounders and making those scoops at first base. But the other story that happened during the All-Star break were the comments by Jose Bautista. And certain people are taking it certain different ways, and I don't think it's anything that Alex Anthopoulos hasn't heard, probably directly from Jose Bautista himself. And it's certainly something that Alex has thought, because this team lost 3 starting pitchers in a matter of 4 days. Pitching is thin on this team right now, and Jose Bautista did say that during the All-Star break. Also said that he's not getting any younger. I want to win, which is understandable. You want your players to win, don't you? But when you hear a player say that, we're not that far removed from Roy Halladay being traded to the Phillies and working his way out of the city because he wanted to win. I mean, certainly a longer career than Jose Bautista's had in Toronto. But what was your overall take?
My take is I don't understand why people are reacting the way they're reacting to what Jose said. It was completely fair, completely true, and in no way an insult to anyone. I mean, it's not like Jose is saying these pitchers that Alex Anthopoulos has provided us with are not good enough. He's saying these 11th through 14th pitchers, starting pitchers, aren't good enough, and we need some help. Yeah, he's not getting any younger, but people need to remember, too, that Roy Halladay gave up free agency twice to stay with the Blue Jays before he engineered his exit. And that was after a few different portions of rebuilding, especially that 06-08 where everybody thought they were going to be good enough to win, and they never even got close to a pennant race. Injuries had something to do with that, too, but that's Halladay getting ready for free agency a third time and waiting to leave. Jose has given up free agency once and would have been a free agent after last year. So we're just starting out here. Yeah, he's not getting any younger. He's 31 years old, but he doesn't have a lot of miles on him as far as baseball is concerned. And I just think that the things he said were so obvious and so true that I don't know how anybody could possibly have a problem with it. And I think I might have a problem if he didn't. If he said at the All-Star break, we're 43 and 43, I think we could tread water for a couple of months till Morrow and Hutchison come back, and we might finish with 80 wins. That's fine with me. I think I would have had a much bigger problem with that.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good at all. But obviously, we're looking for stories in the middle of an All-Star break, and hate that Major League Baseball went to 2 days of absolutely nothing to talk about. I mean, there was a CFL game yesterday and an MLS game 2 days ago as we get ready for Game 1 of this 3-game set against the Cleveland Indians. All right, let's look forward to the second half of the season for the Blue Jays. They get the 3 against the Indians, which I kind of think is cool. They started the season against the Indians, and they started the second half of the season against the Indians. But then into the meat grinder they go. Yankees, Red Sox, a whole bunch of divisional play headed down the stretch. Oh, and the Orioles, I forgot to mention, who are currently in a wild card spot right now, Mike. How dare you dismiss the Orioles like that? But, yes, they haven't exactly been the team that they were early in the season. But it's going to be exciting going down the stretch. Just 2.5 games out, and they are at 500.
You know what's cool is that here we are getting started for Game 87 of the season, basically the halfway point, though not really the halfway point. They've played the Yankees twice. So they have 16 games left against the Yankees, who they haven't lost to all year, mind you. But that's going to be pretty big going forward. And unfortunately, they didn't catch the Yankees at their weakest. By the time they see them, CeCe Sabathia will probably be back. Brett Gardner will be close to coming back, and he kills the Blue Jays. It's going to be a really interesting second half of the season. Everybody is bunched up. You're right. It's a meat grinder. And it's on the road after this series. You hit the road to New York and Boston. That's not going to be easy. Brett Cecil is pitching twice in those 6 games, I believe, once in those 6 games, unless they make a move. But it's going to be interesting to see whether they can continue to tread water over the course of the next 2 weeks, what moves they can make. We know that Brandon Morrow is starting to throw bullpens, but he's probably still at least a month away from getting back here. Drew Hutchison's not going to be back until September. It's going to be tough. But if they can tread water for another couple of weeks and everybody stays this close, then all of a sudden it's not so completely out of the question that something could happen. I see Baltimore slipping back. You know that. I dismiss Baltimore entirely. I think Tampa Bay is going to slide back as well. Detroit's going to move up, but who knows what Chicago and Cleveland are going to do. The possibility exists, and far more than I would have thought the possibility existed 3 weeks ago, that the Blue Jays can still make a run at this.
Should be interesting no matter what happens, and with that second wild card just throws another wrench into the whole scenario, makes things interesting for a lot of teams. One of those teams Blue Jays have to pass, the team they're playing for 3 games at Rogers Center, the Cleveland Indians. One of the players they might have had a chance to go after and were, according to reports, looking at was Johnny Damon, and one of the nicest guys in all of baseball. He's just a great guy. We got a chance to talk to him about all things baseball and what it's like in this era of the 2 wild cards. Here's that conversation with Johnny Damon of the Cleveland Indians. And Johnny, you look at the American League, and with the second wild card, all those teams jumbled up, so tightly packed in the American League. I mean, what does that do to change your mindset going into the second half of the season?
Well, just stay the course. And with that new wild card team, I mean, more teams are going to maybe hold on to guys, and because there's going to be more teams in it till the very end, so it's going to be a difficult trading season. But still, in baseball, anything can happen. The East Division is still wide open. I mean, Toronto, if they get going again, I mean, they're going to get right back in it. But the wild card, I'm a fan of it this year because I'm not with the Yankees or whatnot, because you get that extra opportunity. I wouldn't be happy if I was the Yankees. It gives another team a chance to possibly knock them out. But it's good for baseball, and we saw what happened on the last day of the season last year, and it was pretty amazing, and I'm sure it's going to be that way again.
It's so nice, Johnny, to have you here and not have to hate you. I mean, you were with Detroit for a while, so that helped too. But as someone who's been with the Red Sox and the Yankees and Tampa, I mean, we've hated you for a long, long time, and you're such a nice guy. You come here now in Toronto with all this AL East experience, and you see this offense. You know what they've lost as far as the pitching is concerned, but how scary is this offense?
Well, it's very scary, especially with the way Edwin's been swinging the bat this year. He swung it real good that, Toronto had to pony up and give him 3 years. And then, people were concerned about Bautista early in the season, except for the other players. The other players knew his time was coming, and he's been tearing the cover off the ball. And they have just so many weapons. Lowry is back healthy. He's a fire starter for them. But top to bottom, they're a good team. We just need our pitchers to go out and try to do a good job.
Johnny, obviously, you're no stranger to the American League Central, playing with the Tigers before, but can you compare the divisions? I mean, the American League East is such a meat grinder. It's got to be a little different playing the Central.
Oh, absolutely. The American League East, you have to show up every day, and you have to be ready. And even if you feel good and you think you have a better shot than the other team can throw on 10 runs on the board quickly and leave you shaking your head. So that's what I do miss about the American League East. I mean, every day was that grind, but I'm the type of player who actually needs that and thrives with it. So, but playing in Cleveland's been a struggle early on for me. Trying to get back into the groove, missing spring, but I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable. I'm starting to feel comfortable with my team and what we're going to be able to accomplish. So we know this is a tough stretch for us, and we also know this is a very important time for us.
And it's a time where you guys are right in the thick of things. And there was one other AL Central team that you played for that you started out with, and I want to know what it was like for you to look in on that All-Star game in Kansas City where you cut your baseball teeth. And we've never been there, but you talk about top-notch baseball cities, KC's right at the top.
Absolutely, and that's a big reason why I wish I would have got started earlier this season. I would have loved to have gone back to Kansas City as an all-star, just like Carlos Beltran did. It's special. I mean, I'm always going to have close ties to Kansas City. That was the team I rooted for as a kid, and the city's incredible. They've seemed to they bring out the best in me, and I can't wait to go back this year to play against them and get back home.
Johnny, you mentioned, you were mid-season addition to this Cleveland Indians team. It's a team that's kind of turned a few heads, surprising where they are right now in the standings above 500, still battling in the American League Central. You bring with you so much veteran experience. You've been in those playoff duels, and you know what it's like to compete in stressful games late in the season. How much of that are you bringing to the table as far as a veteran presence on this team?
Well, hopefully a lot. We know how it's going to be tough to win the division, just like it is winning any division. But we also know if you can stay close and you compete, and who knows? The way it's going right now, 85 to 88 games could actually win our division. So we need to look at the big picture, and when we have those down streaks, we might be down, but we're not out. So last month was tough for us. We didn't play so well, but we're still there. We're I think 1 game back in the wild card right now, and 3 back of the White Sox. And the White Sox keep playing the way they are. No one's going to catch them. So that being said, we have a lot to do.
Before we let you go, Johnny, Ben talked about the AL East being a meat grinder, and you got to be a tough and a good ball player to last. You did for a long time, and as those numbers build up, we see that 3,000 in the future. You're a Christmas Day hitter, man. You roll out of bed and get 4 singles to left field every day if you wanted to. How much is that kind of an inspiration for the rest of the way? Are you chasing that number?
Well, I'm not chasing it. I never thought about it playing all those years. I think what's going on with that right now is I'm playing for everybody else. All my former teammates and all my fans, the city of Orlando, my charities. That's who I'm playing for now. I know I'm climbing up on the hits list, the runs list, all kinds of different things. But it would be nice to get. I know jumping to different teams year after year is starting to get tough, especially now that we have 6 kids now, and they're definitely keeping me busy. So hopefully it happens, but if not, I had a successful career. I know I accomplished everything I ever wanted to playing this game, winning a couple championships. But I'm going to keep playing, and hopefully the body stays together. And if I do get it, I'll definitely celebrate. But it's for everybody else but me.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. We really enjoyed watching you, and hopefully one day we're able to watch you celebrate that 3,000th hit.
All right, thank you very much.
There's all-time great guy, Johnny Damon. Hope he sticks around in Major League Baseball forever.
Did you not think that last answer he gave about the 3,000 hits that he was going to tear up for a second? It looked to me, seriously, like we may have had our Barbara Walters moment here on In the Zone, presented by TD. I thought he was going to tear up.
I thought it was because you had garlic for lunch and you were breathing into his eyes. No, okay. No, he is such a great guy, though. I really, really enjoyed that conversation. Really, really look forward to the second half of the season as well for the Toronto Blue Jays. This is a key series for them against the Cleveland Indians, and then a couple more key series as well against the Yankees and Red Sox. He's Mike Wilner. Follow him on Twitter, @Wilnerness590. I'm Ben Ennis. Follow me on Twitter, @BennisSnet. This is In the Zone presented by TD. We'll see you next week.